I'm Mel,
And I'm Andrea.
and we've been asking ourselves, WTF? Where's the fun?
So, welcome to our podcast for heart-led business leaders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs ready for more. More impact, more wealth, more joy, and more magic, all while having even more fun than ever before.
As co-founders of FunX, we believe that life and business is way more fulfilling when you're following the fun.
So, we're flipping the script on success, giving you permission to create from a whole new paradigm where you can have a lasting impact while nurturing your well-being and having a freaking blast along the way.
So join us each week for engaging solo episodes
and real conversations with experts who are embodying this new paradigm of leadership, spiritual wealth, business growth, and of course, fun.
If you're ready to reignite your spark, make bold moves, and lead from a whole new energy,
Let's jump in and have some fun.
We just finished recording an amazing episode with Catherine Farquharson.
So Catherine is a mindset and transformation coach. She has helped thousands of women to really live a limitless life. And this episode was one of our favorites.
Yes.
We talked about self-image. We talked about you in the business. It talks about, I think one of my favorite parts of this conversation was reframing impact into income, but doing it in a way that feels so true and aligned to you that actually creates an impact. So listen to the end. She gives simple, tangible tips, tools. You're not going to want to miss it.
Welcome back to WTF. Where's the fun? I'm Mel.
And I'm Andrea.
And today we have one of our favorite people as a guest, Catherine Farquharson. I nailed it.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Say that 3 times fast.
Catherine Farquharson, Catherine Farquharson, Catherine Farquharson.
That's quite the intro.
I know.
Catherine, I'm so excited for this. I always love talking with you, but I'm really excited for this conversation. I think for the listeners, but I also personally for myself, I'm so excited. We've had the pleasure of getting to co-create with you, to do lots of cool things, but I think going deeper in your superpowers, which one is sunshine, bringing sunshine in all that you do. We know that. But another is mindset. So why don't we just jump in? Share with us kind of, I don't know, I guess even the essence of what it is that you do.
Oh, okay. So we're not doing any small talk here. We're just
No, we're
right now.
diving head first.
You're actually asking the world's hardest question.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I think the reason the question is so hard, this is where I'm at. This is the season I'm in right now where I have I don't want to put myself in a box. And this is what I think we'll talk about today is about running our own lives and our businesses in a way that's true to us. And so having to sum things up, obviously, for the listeners, for our businesses, we need to be able to articulate these things. And it's actually a really hard question. So I just want to say that because I think that's part of maybe what is missing these days, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So I am a mindset and transformation coach. And what that means is that I help people understand how they use the language of the mind, how they think to themselves, and how they process their world around them and then how they then speak and share that processing with others around them to create the lives that they are currently living, but then to understand it to be able to create the life that they want to be living. So everything happens on the inside before it happens on the outside. And so I help people understand what the heck is going on the inside.
I love that. And it's true. I did ask you probably the world's hardest question because people ask me what's the essence is and I feel like a lot of what you do is more of a feeling, an energy,
Embodiment.
a lot of it maybe doesn't even necessarily have words that do what you do justice, because I think a lot of that is that internal. But yeah, I think this gives a little bit of context for where we're going to go, because before we were talking about how even in business, how you can come almost home to yourself more. And as you bring out and figure out who you are, what it is that you're doing, I don't know if it's fair to say that your business is an extension of you or you bring you in the business, but I think that's where it'd be fun to play in.
Yeah, I love that. I think I like to think of business as an expression of you. So, like the three of us, we all have had completely different careers before the one we're in now.
Yeah.
And I know for me, so I used to be a photographer before, so I had a completely different business. And before that, I went to journalism school. So they're like technically on paper, completely different categories. And what I have come to see is that actually they're all different expressions of me, but the sense, the center of it, the center of that expression is the same. So, like, I always joke that so journalism, photography, and coaching is literally all me, like, poking my nose where it doesn't belong. It's like me. Access to anything. But and then also so that's the thread line for, like, me and my personality, but from the other side, it's, like, helping people see what they can't see, helping people see how beautiful they are, helping people see where they might be, blocked to seeing. So, it's actually the same, and I think that that thread line through my life, going forward as well, when I understand that, then it doesn't actually matter what I do for work. I'm always gonna be expressing and exploring those parts of myself in whatever I do.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, I think so.
As soon as you said, like, that backdoor access, like, that is me to a T. It's like, what police detective, it's like, I get to ask anything I want for the most part. And it's like
Yeah.
and and we go deep, like, even at the beginning, you're like, you just started off deep. It's like, even in det it's like, "Okay, tell me your whole life story. You have 30 seconds, go to the depths of your soul and tell me the worst thing that's happened." And it's like, it's not even about that for me, it's about I think my through line is, um, getting to ask questions to help people see a different perspective. And I could literally do that any different way. I just like doing it this way.
And Catherine, has it even been at like a full calendar year that we've known you now? I don't even think it has.
Nope.
And, and honestly, like you were such a random like gift to our world. I'm not kidding. When we met you, you came into our mastermind, and I remember before the mastermind event started, you were like, "Am I gonna fit in? Like, is this like what's the vibe of the group? Like, I need to know." And I was like, "You're fine, don't worry, we got you." And then you came to the event, and I was like instantly, I love this woman so much, and she is always gonna be in my life, whether she likes it or not. And I just remember I had never met, and this is probably why you're so good at your job, and probably why you were a good journalist, and probably why you're a good photographer, but like the way you look at people and the world is so unique. And now that you're a coach, which looking at the world, like I know you were a fantastic photographer because I've seen some of your work. Um, but now that you're a coach, like it's the questions that you answer that I think makes you so special. And even at our event, like you were asking question after question. And I was like, I just love this so much. I love someone who's curious.
Yeah. I think that's probably why we get along so well. Like Andrea, as you're describing about the asking questions, I'm like, oh yeah, me too. I,
Right.
and I was just actually talking to a client who has to go to a holiday party that she is dreading, and she's like, I just hate small talk, and I was like, small talk is just a result of bad questions. I'm like, if you don't like small talk, change the questions. Like, so
Good.
Nuts. Yeah.
That's so good. It's so true. I feel like I need to write that down. So, like, if we're playing in this, because I think we are naturally curious, which I think does also help with getting to learn about yourself more. But how else can people, like, if we're even looking like the self image uh, a theme, how do you actually get to know yourself more to figure
Mm.
some of this stuff out? Because and I think it does change and evolve, and sometimes it's easier to see the path looking backwards, but especially, like, I don't know, just it could even be moving into where they're going, because I think we're also similar and we like to look at what are we moving into and embodying opposed to kind of getting stuck in the past.
Yeah. Well, the first answer I want to say actually is just coming from what Mel just shared, which is I actually think one of the key ways to start the inquiry, I would say, is actually to put yourself in rooms that are new and that you don't know whether you belong or that whether they're your people. So this is actually, I just realized when I was listening, like that is actually something that I do a lot. So it wasn't my first time joining something where I usually will join things that I don't know anyone at. And part of the reason for that is that we can't we understand who we are through contrast and through like see what we're not, right? So like what can it bring up in you when you're uncomfortable, when you're in a space that you are like presenting yourself fresh and new, where you don't know if people are the same as you and all of those things. Like it brings up just by the nature of putting yourself in that place, it brings up so much learning about who you are. And when we're always hanging out with the same people, and let's say, like, I know some people who have hung out with the same people always since high school, there's so much beautiful, like, love, lifetime love in that, which I like. I love my friends from high school.
Yeah.
And I would be doing myself a disservice if I only ever hung out with them because um, they're so loving and accepting of me as the version of me of who I have always been and who they know and love. And so I can't see myself. I can't be, um, I can't get quite the same mirror as I can in a new group. So,
Mm.
great example is Mel, you said that I was the sunshine. That is a word that came forward from an exercise that you led us through, Andrea, where we had to come to realize that essence of ourselves. And because nobody knew me in that space, it was a different experience to claim that
Yeah.
than it would have been if I was with, let's say, my dad's called me his sunshine my whole life. So it's like in his world, it's like, yeah, tell me something I don't know. But but for me to say it and claim it in your space was like it changed a little bit of the way that I was seeing myself. And so I think that that's actually it's why people travel, right? It's like it's actually to be in new spaces to
Yeah.
it's sort of see more about like what you're all about.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think travel's such a good example 'cause
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like a new adventure. And same with that. It's a whole new adventure and it's like I think there's energy that comes with that and it's like
Yeah.
yeah, and that's where I
There's a
that is
curiosity.
and that is where we grow really is in that energy. But it also gets to be fun.
And it's also like you're doing yourself a service because you're putting yourself in a situation where you have to be a little bit vulnerable and courageous all at the same time. And that's really where you grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I've been in other groups where, like, I haven't been as embraced as I was in your group, and it brought up all kinds of, like, old belonging things, like, from high school, middle school, like, all those old things, and it actually helped me to evolve in my self-image and in my relationship to myself because I got to look at that again, where if it's not stirred up, it's just sleeping in your subconscious, and then it doesn't get healed. So
Yeah.
so it's not always as phenomenal, all the way through as, like, your group was, but it always has, like, huge, huge benefits, in my opinion.
Today's episode of WTF Where's the Fun is sponsored by The Fun Experience, a curated mastermind for established business owners, entrepreneurs, and CEOs ready for more. More magic, more joy, more wealth, and more fun than ever before. So if you're ready for a peer-to-peer mastermind that's helping you to embody more leadership, more impact, and make bold moves, The Fun Experience is where it's at.
Totally. And then if we were to play in the like, do you do some of the subconscious work too? Like, is that part of some of the mindset stuff that you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what okay, because I love that, and that's kind of like the essence of what we do. We just don't talk about it, I don't think, often enough. Um, so let's say if someone's like, what would be, I guess, like your typical client that would come to you? It's like they have their dream, their vision. It's like, what is that process that you would help them through? Or like, what are some of the blocks that come up? Like, how do you?
In this round?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a common one, just like what we're discussing, is like if someone wants to either leave, let's say corporate, leave a job and they want to start a new business, or they have started a business but they want to hit another level. And so what happens is the their entire sense of self, their identity of who they understand themselves to be, is no longer a match for the thing that they want to have come into their lives. And so what I always like to explain in this regard is like, people who have a corporate job, who have someone who is paying a salary, who there's hierarchy, there's someone that they're reporting to, there's there's a flow of career path, there's benefits, there's bonuses. Those things mean that that person thinks in a different way. They have different problems, they understand how things work in a very different way. So what happens when someone starts their own career is they have to learn to think in a different way, because all of those things are no longer there, and their understanding of what stability means changes, what success means changes, what trust means changes. And so if people don't learn how to understand who they are in this new context, uh, often they'll sabotage, or the imposter syndrome will just like eat them alive because they don't understand what's going on. Like they think it's about, a new Stripe account or a new Instagram account or like just launching the thing, but it's not the thing. It's actually about who they understand themselves to be first and foremost.
Because it's almost like their identity is so tied up in that role that they've been playing for so long. And I totally relate to this because for me, I came from playing like Division 1 hockey. I was always a hockey player. That was my identity for the longest time, for like 15 years playing high level hockey. All my friends are the Olympians. Like, and then after college, after my Division 1 career was over, I really did. Oh, you die, honey. Wait, Suze. It's okay. You're okay. I don't know why I have a tickle. Oh, we all get those. You're human and this is real life.
You can't mute yours though, because Mel's talking.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm okay.
Okay, good. But I get that because after college, I did have that whole, who am I now if I'm not playing high level hockey? Like, great. Now I'm just in a job. Like, and it really fucks with your mental.
Totally. I actually think a lot about people who retire, and how
Yeah.
if you identify with your career and your sense of importance your whole life and then it's all of a sudden just gone, like I can't emphasize the importance of how of knowing how this process works and how much it can help to create safety and inside when you understand what's going on, because otherwise it's like your world is like literally taken out from under you.
Right.
So one of the things I like to remember is that whatever is happening in our lives and whatever is going on inside, there's a lag effect. So whatever's going on, um, like for example, if I start the new business, that's an action that I've taken, but I'm still running a program from, well, my old business or my old career. So like you could launch a business but still be the hockey player inside.
Yeah.
And so there's a period of time where those two things don't line up. And it's even if it's the same business or the same career, if any time that you're changing or moving into another level of something that's requiring you to ascend in a sense, there's going to be that discourse between the two identities for a while.
Do you see this too with like, it could be money itself, but also just like the I think the abundance in approach as well. Like, I think there's often like the struggle, or it has to be hard, or it has to be a certain way, versus it can be actually wonderfully abundant. And I don't want to say easy, but there is an ease because you're more aligned with what you're doing. But like, I think that takes a bit of time to catch up too. Or that's a whole different identity shift in itself.
Yeah, I think it's the same process, different area. So, like one of the things about self-image and money, I call them money paradigms. So they both sit in the subconscious at a certain comfort place. And so who we understand, this is when people are saying like, I'm the kind of person who blah, 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 blah. I'm not the kind of person who blah, 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 blah. This is all based on like our programming that is very, very like comfortable of like, this is who I am and I can settle in that. And this is how much money I earn and I'm comfortable with that. Anytime that we bump out of that, it's like the thermostat where you turn up the heat and then all of a sudden the internal system is like, "Oh, something's changed, like bring her back down."
Mm.
So it's like our bodies are the same way. So we're like, "I'm gonna actually turn my annual income into my monthly income." Like all of a sudden the inside's like, "Whoa, like alert, alert, alert." So it's like just what's been programmed. So this is the most fun part of this work is that like learning how to debunk it and shift it so that you realize like I'm actually only believing that X amount of money is a lot of money because of what I believe about money so far.
Mhm.
And it has nothing to do with what's possible, like
Yeah.
at all. But we need to we need those questions and an understanding of how this the subconscious mind programming works, so you can shift it. Otherwise, we'll always be fighting for those limitations. Like, no, like this is all I can earn. So this is one of the main ones that happens when people move from corporate into entrepreneurship, because with corporate, like I was saying, you get a salary and you get bonuses, and it's all very ordered and structured. When you're an entrepreneur, it's actually limitless. So, who's putting the cap on what you can earn? You are.
Yeah.
And it's actually, like, a little bit hard for people to handle this idea that it's actually like, "Oh, you mean it it I I could I can have, like, a quantum leap within a couple of months," versus it being like, "I need to get a raise every year." It's totally different mentality.
So how would you help somebody? Because I think a lot of people listening are in that field. It's like they are entrepreneurs, but even like I think there is the desire for even more impact. And with more impact, naturally comes more income. But it can also feel like how do you bump up against that almost that next level and almost, I guess, rewire some of those old beliefs or like how would you what would you recommend? Even if it's just like one simple tool people could do. And I know it's not that simple.
So, I'm gonna say something that, might be surprising, and I might eat my own words later. I'm not sure, I'm just speaking off. But often, the desire for impact first is actually a very consensus reality, like, agreeable way of trying to pretend like you don't want money. So,
Yeah.
it's like
I would agree with that.
so people will say, because it's easier to say, "I want impact," and but actually, because inside you're like, "'Cause I don't think I can earn the money." It's like that money paradigm hasn't moved. You've just found language to talk about something that people goes like, "Oh, yes, let's talk impact." And so what I wanna say is truly that if you wanna make impact, make money,
Mm,
because then you have money to make impact with.
I agree.
And, and but it's just more pleasing for people to say it the other way around. But if you do say it the other way around, I probe to be like what are we stuffing under here right now? Like why are we afraid to talk about money? Why are you afraid to say I want to make money to make impact?
Mhm. Yeah. This is so interesting, and this is okay, this is fun. It's gonna be kind of personal. We went to an event yesterday, and, the event organizer one of the questions was, "If no one was around, like, nobody else is on Earth, what is it that you would do differently?" Like, not have, and for her, she realized it was, like, she had this, like, big elaborate house, and she's like, "If no one else was here, I would just have, like, this cute little cozy house." And what I noticed for me, it was the exact opposite. It's like, I love like, I'm like, I want flashy clothes, but, like, just because like, I love bright colors. It's like, I would have my awesome dream vehicle, which is actually very similar to yours. And I caught myself, and this was actually like right before this conversation, so I think it's timely. And it was I I have still like this little belief kicking around here that I'm starting to become more aware of. It's like I'm dimming what my actual desires are. Like I want the fun car, the flashy car, not because I care about the materialism, but I'm like, that brings me joy.
And it's your inner child coming out to play.
Totally. So I am happy you said that because I think for a lot of us, you have to be the good girl. You can't do this. And it's like all this like nonsense. But it sneaks up on you in different ways. Yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I'm really excited for you to open those gates.
Yeah.
For you.
You love that journey.
I love that journey for me.
Oh, I love that. And I think that this is the area that actually is really fun to play in because it's in the material things that these things get actually challenged. So, um and I think that when we put them in the bucket of superficiality, we miss the point. Like if we're here in our physical bodies, like if we're souls in a physical body, here to enjoy the planet, it's like literally here to enjoy the planet. Like to enjoy putting on those flashy clothes,
Yeah.
right? Like that's otherwise we would be in spirit form, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think we just like have twisted it around a little bit as though it's one or the other, that you can have the things that you want to enjoy and express and play with and have impact. Like,
Yeah.
in fact, you probably would have more impact living that way than dimming your light to try to fit into what you unconsciously think is acceptable,
Yeah.
which I think is what actually most of us are struggling with.
I think the when you said that, like the word that really stood out was expression. And I think for a lot of people that is the deeper thing that is almost a little bit scary to how do you show up in that full expression of yourself while honoring yourself, while navigating all the things. Um, yeah, I think that's the next level leadership and growth is also that next level expression.
Yeah. I will say, because I have been in lots of groups, that was something that I found to be really a gift from your mastermind was that I noticed that I was accepted and loved and appreciated more the more I was sharing the expression of myself. And as you discovered, like I'm pretty goofy and
Love it.
and I like jokes and I like laughing and I'm also really serious. And depending on other groups that I've been in, some like that's what I meant by sometimes the belonging thing sort of would kick in because um I didn't feel like I could be my full expression of myself. And there's something to that, like to be able to be in a space with people that you can practice sharing your full expression and have it be celebrated and have it be encouraged and seen and witnessed, like just like I see you.
Yeah.
I think that is the greatest gift that we have available for people right now, and that's what I love with my clients is, like, being able to reflect back what I see, and then as they start to shed more and more and more of the external self-image, and they just share, like, their light, then everything changes about what they believe is possible, um, and then also, like, how they wanna run what they're doing, how they wanna live in their families, like at home, at work, wherever. It extends all the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's exactly what you said. It's like that. It gets to be a play then because you're in the safe space, you get to share, but I find like the more you can speak it out loud and then have it reflected back to you and then have different perspectives. It's like,
And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
no, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say to your point about the physical thing, what I have also found is that when you do use the physical world to express and play, it gives other people permission to do the same thing. So I used to live in Toronto, downtown. My husband and I moved to the country, and the amount of expansion that has happened for other people that we know because we did this first was huge. Like, just the dreaming of like, "Wait, I can let go of what I thought it was supposed to be. I can do something different than I thought I was supposed to do. Like, I can, like" it's like we affect each other. That's impact. Me going after my
Mhm.
dreams is impacting other people to go after theirs. So, when you drive around in the new car that's coming, that has a ripple effect that is an expansion for other people. It's
It's
very
no
fun.
like, and I totally get that because it's no different than us moving 3 hours to the lake to live on the lake and be in that environment and that energy. It's the exact same
Yeah.
thing that you're saying.
And it's funny because you came into the mess when you're like, "Am I gonna belong?" And then, like, 3 minutes later, you're like, "I'm hosting a pool party at my house, and everyone that invited." And we actually did that. We did, but it was so expansive, and it was the best energy for like, it was such a gift
Yeah.
for the group and us, and it was like so it totally is yes, I think stepping in that energy really is the best way to have an impact, and a lot of it is in ways you would never even know because it's a different paradigm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing about impact that I have really been contemplating is that, like, so I don't know why I'm really getting onto this impact.
Love it.
Taking
That
impact down. Um, no, but I actually think so real impact you never know. And like because it's not linear in the way that we are that our ego wants to be validated. Impact is not validation. And what I find when people that I know or like clients will talk about wanting to be impact driven, it actually is what they're wanting is a feedback mechanism. And I think real impact, if you think about people who are impacting you right now in your life, the majority don't know or are not even alive. Like, if we're reading a book of someone who's or an old teacher or like a lineage of some kind, or we listen to a podcast, like we're impacting listeners right now that are never gonna tell you.
yeah.
I hope. Hi.
You can reach out.
Yeah. So let's know. We like that too. But I think that that's the freedom that we can actually release ourselves from the needing to have impact and just trust that by living the way that we wanna live and following our heart and, um, doing the best work that we can, that the impact takes care of itself.
Mhm.
And
That is brilliant.
Yes.
What are you currently focused on? What's fun for you? What's exciting for you? Or even like, I don't know.
Tell us what's fun for you right
Yeah.
now. He's thinking.
I'm thinking, "Oh, yeah, we have to feel the noise." Well, snow was falling outside the window, and it
Um,
was fun to go for a walk with my dog in the snow this morning. So in this vein, I'm gonna stick with what we're talking about here. In this vein, um, what's fun for me is continuing to practice doing this. So another thing I was talking about with clients yesterday, which is something that I'm practicing, which I am finding fun, is like as I think about the things that I offer in my business, um, to offer what I want to be running and to be doing it in a way that I find fun, as opposed to which is the more common way, which is what does the market need? Or what is everyone else doing? Or what's the way that this gets done? Or what do they expect? Or how should this be? And all of these rules, I am practicing and finding really fun, letting that go and be like, no, what's fun for me? And trusting that what's fun for me will be fun for them. And that you get more and more and more like alignment with your clients. And so that's really fun because it requires a consistent like dismantling of those rules, the programming, the shoulds, the comparison, all of those things. And it's just like, okay, well, if the world's your oyster, like then what's going to happen? So I think having you guys over for the pool party is a good example of that. Like that literally just came out of like, I think, it'll be fun for us to hang out in person again. And I have this pool, so come here. And then even the same thing last weekend, I hosted my mastermind here at my house, and it wasn't part of what they knew that they had signed up for. So they signed up for an online experience. And then I was like, okay, we're having an in-person day. And we picked a day, and then we had a retreat here, and it was coming from the is like literally because I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
love that.
yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
I
It's
think if everyone did that, like everyone would just be in love with their businesses, you know?
Yeah. I think that's how our one day event came up, is because I was like, it would be more fun going into like December, like rounding out the year, an in-person one day event. What else would make that more fun? Oh, I know, getting Catherine to come into that. That would make it more fun for me.
It's so true.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love seeing you following your fun
Yeah.
in business because you're just honestly, you're I've said this many times, but I truly do feel like you're a gift in so many people's lives. But the more you're having fun, it's like that is so, I
Fun to
think
watch.
it's so contagious. It's
Yeah.
like magnetic, maybe,
Yeah.
but it's so much fun to see that. And then if somebody's like, I want to be part of Catherine's world, what are different ways that they could work with you or learn about some of the things that you offer?
Oh, wow. All kinds of ways. So I have master classes that I offer every quarter with the seasons, usually the season change. So, like the equinox or the solstice is the easiest way to remember when they are. And then I also have some um, on demand, like audio experiences. So if someone wanted to be like, what's it like with Catherine teaching? And I just want to do it on my own space, those are available as well for free. And then I also have a year-long program, which is really fun. It's called Resourced: The Art of Personal Power. And I actually created that program out of this philosophy that we're talking about. I needed to reinvent my offer from a place of like where what I really wanted to be talking about and what I wanted to be helping people with. And I had a program that was ongoing for I was running it for 7 years.
Wow.
And I shut it down last year and was like, I just need to like do this my way. And the irony is it's not actually that different, but for me, in terms of giving myself full permission to like let it have its own fresh life. Um, so now this is the first year of its completion, and it's been really, really great. So I'm enjoying like continuing to add to it and make it better and better and better. So that would be like the beginning of the way to work with me. Yeah.
Can you join that at any point, or does it have to be at a certain time of year?
Starting in January, you can join anytime.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a new revision.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know a few of the incredible people who've gone through your programs, and you just attract the most
Amazing.
awesome humans.
Yeah, I do. And I know that, and so I've always been, like, saying to them, like, "I know how amazing everyone is, but, like, I need you guys to know." And so from the same ilk of what we're just talking about, I'm actually hosting a client appreciation night in a couple of weeks so that they can meet each other. Because like, "I'm tired of you not knowing how amazing you all are," like, and I think, as I learned from, um, our experience and others of, like, the difference between being only online and being able to meet people in the flesh, it's a bit of a different thing. So they're all gonna be meeting so they can see how great they are.
And that's something
That's
that
fun.
I've been toying with too about our fun experience mastermind, is now that we're going into the third round, is I want to pick a day where everybody who's ever been in it can come together.
Brilliant.
I know, right? Just like you, I know how amazing everybody is, and I want them all to be feeling that way too. So,
As someone who was in the first one, I definitely was curious about who was in the second one. So, um, I think you're onto something.
yeah, yeah.
Wait till you see the ladies that are in the third one. They're just a vibe.
It is going to be a time. A time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, Catherine, this was lovely.
I feel like I could talk to you forever.
I know.
There one last thing that you could leave people with for anything in terms of really anything that we've spoke about or anything on your heart that you just wanted to share to their heart?
Well, the first thing is I realized I left with a huge open loop because you asked for a how, like how do you change that belief? And I didn't answer the question. So just to satisfy some listeners' need for an answer, I would just say regarding um like the let's say the money component is just to really look at what it is that you believe about money and what you believe about what's possible for you in money or what money means or like what do rich people mean and like what like really like going through um um the nitty-gritty of what those beliefs are and just really looking at why you believe it and where did it come from and is it actually true or were you just told that this is true? Because most of our money beliefs come from like family. So really looking at like I understand that that was my dad's reality, but is that my reality and is this true for me? And like just questioning it is a really great place to start.
Yeah.
So
I
there.
love that.
I love that.
That's like I am now satisfied with my answers. We'll have all the ways that people can follow you and your journey and really resourced all the things because we truly believe in what you do. And now I'm thinking like, how do we work with Catherine?
All the way. All the ways. Yes. Yeah.
So grateful for you, Catherine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for being such beautiful connectors and just finding like gems off the internet.
We're gem collector.
Yeah, we're like, this lady looks like a gem. Let's get her. Thanks for listening to WTF. Where's the fun?
We're Andrea and Mel, and we're so excited to be on this journey with you to see how fun it can get.
If today's episode brought a little bit more fun into your world, be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review.
And remember, life and business is so much better when you're following the fun. So let's have some fun.